build that legacy with what you have. So I mean, meant a ton. Nobody had it, so it was an easy grab.
How did you end up choosing it in the first place?
So I was 77, but me coming into Ohio State, Tegra Chabola already had 77, so I just went with 71, second best.
Josh, are you going to be able to participate at all this weekend?
I'll be getting like my toes wet, but right now everything's on rehab, so whenever the trainers or whatever the trainers will have me doing is kind of what I'll be doing.
Can you give us a sense of what you'll be doing between now and the start of training camp?
Can't really say. That's one of the conversations I have to have with the trainers, but it'll probably be conversation will be had probably.
Josh, we asked you about coming back from that injury, but what was it like immediately sustaining that injury, knowing that you were a major draft prospect? Can you kind of take us through your mindset and how you were able to turn it to rehab eventually?
Yeah, so I was like super frustrated, like, I'm pissed, it was the biggest season we had. Everybody had all the tools to win an Natty, which we also obviously did, but I mean, I just had to kind of grow up and just, put all that frustration into rehab and, just get after it.
Is that what you ended up doing? Like, what has the rehab process been like for you?
Yeah, so I mean, something like this, it's not easy, but you just got to come in and attack it like hell every day. Just really, really go hard in rehab. That's kind of how you have to do something like this.
How does rehab work for you? I mean, if you were at Ohio State, but then you knew you were going to be going, and you have your own team, and now you're part of the Chiefs. They have a team. I mean, how did you kind of navigate through that part of it?
Yeah, so the immediate start was go out with my trainer, Nohl, and Elite Orthosport, just kind of, he can be hands-on with it and gradually see the progression. But then, fires and stuff like that happened in LA around that time. So we went back to school, and Adam Stewart, who was like, platinum standard and that stuff, really helped me. So, from the rest.
Since you have been selected, can you just describe how the process has been with Rick Burkholder and making a plan for the upcoming months?
Yeah, again, so we have like deeper conversations to be had. Like we're Minicamp, I'm really just playbook and trying to take mental reps. But yeah, obviously what I'm allowed to do, I'm going to do 100%.
Initial reactions to just seeing the playbook and the facility and everything involved with being in a Chiefs organization?
It's great. It's everything you can ask for a football player, and the playbook is not as complex as I thought it'd be, but definitely still some. It's a different playbook than Chip Kelly, so got to do a little bit of studying.
When you grew up, what was your favorite NFL team? I mean, how do you went to a couple colleges, you kind of changed allegiances here now you're a Chief. I mean, what was your football fandom growing up?
So like as a little kid, I was a Raiders fan, but then like I just grew up, I just kind of started having like favorite players on Seahawks so I just stopped kind of being a fan and just started watching different players.
Josh, is it your expectation to push at least to start right away? I know we're steps away from that, but is your expectation to try and push to start right away?
I just want to help the team however I can. If that's like starting, cool. If not, then obviously cool. I'm just here to kind of help the Chiefs win. So.
Obviously, when the Chiefs were showing interest and you knew that they were interested in you, what was kind of your thought process during the build up to the draft as far as what was Kansas City be like for you, and how did you kind of imagine it coming together and being a good place for you?
I mean, it was kind of, like you said, they were showing a lot of love, and the combine interviews went to what I thought was pretty good. So yeah, I definitely thought like that was on the table coming like April 24th.
Have you had any conversations with any other offensive linemen, the vets, or anybody else?
I had like a brief interaction with Juwan Taylor. He's a really cool dude. Yeah.
Josh, how do you feel like being in Chip Kelly's offense has kind of prepared you for this moment?
Yeah, it's a lot of like, it's very NFL like pro style. So like coming here and jumping into something like this wasn't as hard as it was for me coming from San Diego State to Ohio State. So I'm definitely glad I was in Chip Kelly's offense.
Any barbecue yet?
Q39, those burn-in wings. I'll definitely probably try to make after camp, try to get some before I head back, but absolutely.
Josh, Jana Bartle with The Athletic. Can you talk a little bit about maybe the expectations you feel coming in, feeling a need maybe on this team for a team that's also rebounding off of a loss last season? Yeah, so I mean, attack rehab as hard as I can. That way when training camp does come around, I can be the most help that I possibly can be. There's nothing really I can do to like kind of force, there's a lot of vets in here, and my thing is just stay out the way and work hard and be a helpful piece if I can. Does it help at all, transferring to Ohio State, having that mentality of coming in somewhere new and making an impact right away?
Say that again?
Does it help at all, I guess, in college, transferring and being able to make an impact right away? Does that help?
Yeah, it does. But for here, it's different. Like right now, there's a lot of great offensive linemen in the room right now. So I mean, I can learn from them. Pick their brains about stuff, the playbook especially. So, but other than that, I'm just trying to be a helpful piece.
We had heard a lot of people talk about getting prank calls and all that. We've seen that. Was your draft night clean?
It was pretty clean.
Like
Thankfully,
that?
yeah, that would have. Yeah, I was that would have been different. But yeah, no, mine was pretty clean.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
So what's the last week and a half been like for you?
It's been incredibly exciting and honestly a blessing.
What's it like just to get here and get started?
It's almost the same answer. Like, it's just a blessing to be here. I mean, I'm figuring out where I'm at, all those kinds of things, just with being in a new area, but overall, I'm happy to be here.
Initial reaction to seeing what Spags offers there on the defensive side and how it can help you out?
It's a pretty complex playbook he has going on, but I am confident I'll be able to get a hold of it and learn it. Spags is a great coach, and I'm ready.
How different is it from your time in college?
It's probably a lot more content within the playbook, I would say. And then the names of what's going on is different. That's probably about it.
You kind of mentioned draft night the opportunity to play with Chris Jones. Has he reached out to you, or any of the veterans on the defensive line reached out to you yet?
I believe his name is Malik. I talked to Malik, and that was it. But I haven't talked to Chris yet.
What kind of advice did Malik Herring give you?
He just told me, let's get ready. Let's do it.
What are your initial? I was going to say, you've worn 55 for a long time. How did you end up choosing that number in the first place, and does it have any special meaning to you?
Arizona State, it kind of just put me in 55. It didn't have any special meaning to me. And then I went out there and made a play, and I just went like this. This was my celebration. I took both my fives up. And ever since then, it just like stuck with that team. They start calling me 5'5", and then it was just. So now it definitely does have a significant meaning behind me on the field and playing.
Did you just accidentally put the hands up that way?
Yeah, it was just like I don't know.
You weren't thinking.
I wasn't thinking about it. Yeah, I just went like that.
Omarr, you didn't play a ton at Tennessee. I wondered if you were itching to play more snaps for Tennessee, and just what the transition to the NFL that you probably will be asked to play more often than you did at Tennessee.
Yeah, of course you want to play more, but we had a rotation of 6 D tackles who could all start in the SEC. And my position coach, if you don't know who he is, Rodney Gardner, incredible coach. He believes in keeping his guys fresh. So I took my opportunities that I was given. I made the best of it. And to hit on your second part, it'd be the same thing in the NFL. Whatever opportunities I have, I'm going to take the best of it, whether it's more or less.
You mentioned your position coach. What have the initial conversations been like with Joe Cullen?
Oh, it's been great. Great. It's just a lot of us just building that rapport and him just coaching hard.
You play with Ashton, just the conversations you guys have had since you've arrived in Kansas City, since you're both going to be in the same unit.
Can you ask that again?
Oh, Gillotte, Ashton, just you guys being rookies, playing the same position, just what have the conversations been like and how you guys gaining rapport with each other so far?
Oh, well, he's my roommate in the hotel, so we sat there and talked playbook the whole night yesterday and just things we have on our mind for this upcoming season and years to come.
How's he as a roommate?
He's a great roommate. He doesn't even snore. Me, on the other hand, I can't promise you that.
Couple more.
Omarr, how did you fine-tune your pass rush set? It seems like you've got a variety of moves. Did that come with the position coach at Tennessee you're talking with Coach Gardner? Was that something you had developed already?
I believe I already have like a natural ability for getting off the ball, and it got fine-tuned when I was at Arizona State with Rod Rodriguez. He's like I like to call a pass rush specialist, and he honed me in on just the rules to pass rushing, and I ran with it.
Omarr, the evaluations on you were kind of all over the place when it comes to the NFL. Some guys love you, some didn't have you as high. How excited are you to kind of go out there and show what you can do in the NFL now?
I mean, it's quite literally my job, so I'm very excited to go do it and prove all the naysayers wrong. But I'm not the kind of guy that listens to all the outside chatter. I just focus on what I have at hand, stay where my feet are at, and play hard.
Omarr, when did it hit you, this goal you've been working for years on end, and you're putting on the Chiefs helmet, when did it finally hit you that you finally arrived here?
Last night at the rookie dinner, they played like a little highlight of just like the Chiefs and all the plays they made right after Mr. Hunt was done talking. And it's just like that. In that moment, I was in my head. I'm like, dude, you're really here. This is real. I'd say last night at the dinner. Yeah.
Last one, anybody?
I got a little off the ball. You were at Tennessee. We've seen lots of stuff happen. You've lived through transfers, NIL, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of old hat for you guys who are here. But then we saw all this stuff kind of happen with Nico. And was he threatening to not play in the playoff? Were you aware of any of that stuff going on? I mean, you're up the side of the ball and all that stuff.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't know about any of that. And then with me training, I wasn't around, and I just wish the best for Tennessee and my boy Nico, honestly.
Is that kind of the other side of you're leaving somewhere, you're going somewhere else? It's just kind of, you've already used, you're a professional now, it is your job, but it's kind of been your job for a while, the way college football is now, hasn't it?
I agree. That's fair to say, yeah.
Did you like it? Or is it a little too much too early for some players kind of getting the business side of it down early?
Right. It's when you're dealing with a lot of young players who are dealing with a lot of money, you can find those kind of issues. I think finding the right leadership and having that with you will help. But I agree. It's a yin and yang to it, definitely.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you.
for Jalen.
I know you just started this process, but what's the last couple of days been like, finally getting here,
Yeah.
meeting the coaches, playbook, all that?
It's been a joyous feeling. Very anxious too. You know, it's my first time being out here and first time in the NFL, so it's very anxious, but I'm also happy.
When you watch the pros, which receivers do you watch to sort of try to pick up things from most within the league?
I try to watch everybody. Devontae Adams, AJ Brown. You know, the big receivers. So you know, you try to piggyback off what they do and try to implement it into my game.
Jalen, you seem to play at the X a lot last year. Was that just because of the way the offense is tempo? Can you kind of take me through your role at that specific spot?
Yeah, so we played X last year. I played X last year, and I feel like that was the majority of the role. And then as time goes by, our coach wanted me to implement me in the slot, and then so just trying to move me around, just for like occasions like when I get to the NFL, I can bounce back and forth.
It's probably far too early for these guys who have told you, but are you learning? Are you trying to learn every spot?
Yeah, I'm trying to learn. Just trying to learn the offense as of right now. So just trying to learn everything I can.
What are your initial impressions of the offense and getting your hands on the playbook?
It's very complex, dealing with Andy Reid, so it's a very complex offense.
Jalen, is that what you mean when you were referring to the anxiety, or is it just overall
I think just overall anxiety, that's all it is.
Well, how do you work with that? I mean, it's got to be a new feeling and something.
Yeah, so just taking it one step at a time, taking it one day by day. I know it's the first day, but just trying to come in and work and just take it step by step.
Jalen, I know you're just getting started here, and it's just a 3-day camp. Is there something that you would consider this to be a successful camp? Well, like, what would you consider this to be a successful weekend for you?
Just coming in, competing, and learning the offense. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Does this first day feel like comparable to anything else you've felt before? Can you compare this first day feeling to something else?
Nah, I really can't. It's not even similar to like the first day of school, no. So.
Jalen, you got Spencer Petras here with
Yeah.
you. Does that help with the seeing a familiar face, having your quarterback who was just thrown to you a couple months ago here?
Yeah, it definitely helps. Played last year together, so it definitely helped.
Has Patrick Mahomes reached out to you, and just what are those conversations like you did?
Yeah, he has. He just congratulating me and just wishing me the best and telling me that I need to come in and work. So.
What was it like getting that call from him? Were you convinced it was him, or?
At first, I didn't think it was him, but
How did he convince you that it was him?
Well, he texted me, so I just assumed it was him. That's the only way he could get my number. So.
Other than that, what's the last week been like for you since?
It's been a lot of resting and working out, and then just get my mind prepared for this moment right here, and just coming in and doing my best. So.
You were a couple of different numbers at Utah State. 11 wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
How did you end up with that number, and does it have any special meaning to you?
I know one's definitely taken. I'm not gonna get that one. I wore 6 in high school, and I know Brian has that, and then 4. I grew up with that number with she, so I just doubled the number 1. So.
You spent a lot of time after the end of the college season training for the combine, pro day workout. It's a little different from actual football shape.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges transitioning from training specifically for combine type drills to getting out here and doing football stuff?
It's a lot more movement, aspects and stuff like that. You're not just running in a straight line. You're actually, running routes or, learning plays. The mental aspect, comes with that too. So.
Can you talk about the new kickoff rules, and did you pay attention last year what the NFL was doing with kickoffs?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it just with the new kickoff, and you can't. It's not like the old kickoff where everybody runs down and just a whole bunch of collisions. So it's definitely gonna be a new change for me because I'm kind of used to the old school way.
Last one, Sam.
Jalen, I don't think we asked you on the Zoom when you got drafted just about the foot injury that you suffered last
Yeah.
year. What was that like, and how long did you feel like it took you to get back to where you were?
I would say it took me a little longer than expected. It's probably a very delicate injury, deltoid ligament, and I'm healthy right now, fully healthy. So I guess that would just be it. I guess I don't know.
Well, did you feel like teams really got to see the full you as you were leading up to workouts and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm still recovering during that time. So to even go out there and compete, with the top guys and while still injured, just shows a lot of effort and grit for me. So.
officially lost.
When you went out to that elite camp at Utah State for the first time, what was kind of the decision-making process to do that? And I mean, you drive out there, you fly out there. What was it?
Me and my dad flew out there. I really just wanted to get a JUCO ball, but I was just going out there and just trying to, better myself and just get an opportunity to play somewhere else.
Did you think a scholarship offer was going to be coming to that?
I was hoping it would. Thank you all.
Thank you.
This is gonna go. But, no, you're good. Yeah.
Next week.
Oh, okay.
Ashton, number 97. I mean, you were in college. Does that never have any special meaning to you?
Obviously, I started my college career in it, and it wasn't my first choice because also in high school I played at 9. But I think going back to that is kind of symbolic in a lot of ways and meaningful to me. Like just to have the option to go back in that number, So starting my college career like that, so I'm gonna start my NFL career like that too. So it's a good omen.
When we talked to you on draft night, you hadn't talked to George yet. I'm sure you've talked now. Just how those conversations been going?
It's been good. He was trying to give me a rundown, like what I need to know about the city, where to live, all that kind of stuff, what I need to know about playbook, all that kind of stuff. So just kind of throwing stuff at me, seeing if it sticks. So.
What did he tell you about? I mean, obviously, don't tell us where you live, but what did he tell you about the city?
No, he told me there's some really nice spots, some good food, obviously a great fan base, and just to be around. Obviously, I'm waiting to get involved. Like I'm looking forward to getting involved in the city.
Ashton, what prompted you to use your NIL money for charity? Can you tell us that story a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to my faith and really the calling I feel like God put on me. Like I don't need half the thing. Like I'm grateful with what I have. So like whatever I can give back, I'll give back because my mom ingrained that in me, my pastors ingrained that in me, my youth group leaders. So it's just for me, it's been a calling, especially for veterans. Like veterans was a big thing for me. Homelessness, that's another thing. Like if I can give back in any way, that's I feel like that's what you're supposed to do, especially when you get in these positions. So
why are veterans important to you?
So I got a lot of military family. My dad's ex-Marine. My uncle was in Iraq, Army. But just being able to like see like, for example, for my uncle, like just seeing like the lack of support for it, and like kind of almost how like you get overlooked. Veterans kind of get overlooked nowadays. So just being able to call attention to that and make them feel loved, because a lot of vets don't feel like people when they get home. And it's hard to figure out your schedule without the military. So any way I can do to bring that familiarity back or make them feel loved, because I mean everyone deserves love, especially vets. So.
Before you started playing football, could you have seen yourself raising your right hand?
You said it right.
Yeah,
oh.
Before you started like getting serious in football, could you see yourself? I mean, you come from a military family.
Yeah. My dad said no. My dad said I couldn't. He said he did it. So he said, unless that's your last choice, he said, he's like, you got football, stick to football. So, I thought I was gonna be a SEAL. So, but obviously I'm grateful to be a football player. So.
Ashton, your mom was your strength coach. You said, what was your mom's advice for you for camp?
For camp, she's been very supportive. She hasn't told me anything crazy. She's just like, just enjoy the moment, soak it in. Obviously, we're not lifting or anything, so that's not her specialty. But just take it for what it is.
roll with the punches.
Couple more.
What's this week been like for you? Just, hear your name called to now.
No, it's been great. It's been kind of a blitz. Very quick turnaround, and obviously grateful to be here. And Monday I go back, and I got to bring all my stuff over. So try not to think about that right now. But it's again great feeling, and just again to be in an organization like this is very special.
How's your initial thoughts of playbook and that? I know it's a lot early here, but what are your initial thoughts?
It's a lot of switching lingo. I feel like that's the biggest thing. But obviously, I got a lot to learn. Big playbook, very developed scheme. So obviously, I'll try to pick the vet brains when I can and go from there.
You were the one with the uncle, right? That was the Chiefs fan?
Yeah.
Was that you? And
Yeah.
has he already kind of arranged visits? Is he
Yeah.
circled to come out too?
He started calling teams that we play just to call their ticket office, see if you can get tickets for them in advance. He would drive out here because he's done road trips before, so he's thinking about buying a ticket, but he said it might be too expensive. I heard the average ticket price is pretty expensive here, but that's what happens when you win. But yeah, no, I definitely could for sure. But
Let's go Todd and Harold.
Not a football question, but you went to Louisville. Derbies today. Did you ever go to the Derby?
yeah, I went to Derby last year actually, and got the full experience. Actually, so I set very responsible limits for the day. So Derby, I lost. Like I set my budget, and I just lost. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. But actually on Derby, it was a good day, man. I made it all back and made a little bit more. And I actually met a chief there because Kelsey was there. But so that was kind of cool.
Last one.
Well, I got to follow up with that. How was it like meeting Travis?
He's like exactly how he seems on TV. He's a real down-to-earth guy. And he probably don't remember me. I'll just be frank. But no, he was a cool dude, and he gave us a lot of good wisdom. Like, because it was us and a couple other like defensive linemen, defensive backs, and all that. So I think he just talked from his experience.
And how's your
Like
roommate?
football wisdom?
Huh?
Like he was already talking football wisdom?
Yeah, because like I mean, when you meet people who are great, it's like you're gonna ask like, what do you do? Like, how do you do it? How do you get in the rhythm? How are you having this career? So that's kind of what we asked, and he was just very, very level with us. Like,
And how's your roommate? I got to ask Omarr.
Omarr?
Yeah.
no, that man goofy. I love that man. I could tell like we're building that chemistry right now, but he doesn't snore, so that's a blessing. So I can actually sleep at night. But he's a funny dude. Like, just be around.
You snore apparently.
He said I snore.
No, he said you.
I slept on my side on purpose. Yeah, come on. But
Throwing up drama. We're good.
thank you. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Kansas City.
Nohl, what are you hoping to show this weekend? What are you kind of expecting out of this weekend?
I'm hoping to show just my willingness to get down the playbook, their verbiage, and just showing my great effort on the field and gelling with, my teammates and gelling with the coaching staff.
Has anything stood out to you about the playbook so far about Spags?
It's not much right now, but, I know I'll get more and more as the days progress, but, it's a great defense to be in.
Has Trent or anybody reached out to you?
No players have reached out, but I've watched their film, so I know about them, and I'll eventually meet those guys. Can't wait.
What are your first impressions of working with Dave Merritt?
He's a good ball coach. He's been around the game a long time. He knows his stuff, and I know I can learn a lot from him and keep growing and developing to the player I want to be.
I know it's really early. Has he talked to you about what maybe they'll want you to do this year as far as position?
No, just wherever I can. We haven't had that conversation one-on-one, but wherever they want me to be, I'm willing to learn, contribute on special teams and wherever they need me.
With the ball tracking skills you have and the way you're able to intercept the pass, how were you able to develop that for your child up to now?
Just repetition, consistency on the jugs, just always, envisioning me, turning to a wide receiver when the ball's in the air. So it was kind of something that just developed over time through my college career.
No, you have, your dad played wide receiver, right?
No, I played DN.
DN, okay.
DN, yeah.
But you got some family members that did, right? Was it in your head to ever play wide receiver? It seemed like you played in high school a little bit too,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Why did you decide on defensive back in college?
My older brother, he was a defensive back, and he kind of just led the way for me, and he taught me the position. So, I just kind of followed his footsteps and wanted to play defensive back.
Is there an enjoyment in that position when you compare the two?
For sure, being on defense, you do the hitting, you don't get to get hit, and just having, like a stadium like Arrowhead, it's one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL, so just being on defense and having that juice behind you, I feel like it's going to be a feeling like no other.
You wore a few different numbers in college, but I know none of them were available here, so ended up with 20. What was the decision behind that? And does it have any special meaning to it?
Never wore the number 20, but, I know there was a great player before me that wore 20, so, just rock out with 20.
Can you describe what the last week and a half's been like for you? Has it set in yet? Just describe it.
It's just been blessings, just taking it all in, being able to be here. It's crazy, but at the same time, it's just I got to lock in even more now. I'm here. They picked me for a reason, so just got to display my skills.
Last one, anyone?
When you grew up, like Bay Area college and all that stuff, Raiders fan, Niners fan, or what was your football lineage as a kid?
Early on, it was San Diego Chargers, and then Kansas City, believe it or not. Yeah.
So you've been a Chiefs fan for a while?
Yeah, because my favorite player is DeAnthony Thomas, and he had got drafted here, and then that's when I made the switch. Yeah.
So it sounds like you were a fan of Justin Reed, too?
Justin Reed?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was just always, tapped in with the Chiefs, I wouldn't say, die hard, but, I liked the Chiefs. I liked it. That was my team. I watched them. So ever since Alex Smith days, Devin McCluster, Jamal Charles, all those guys. So
Thanks, Nohl.
thank you guys.
You know those guys.
Yeah, for sure.